You settle your weight gently onto the ground, letting your feet feel the earth beneath. Bare skin meets soil. Warmth rises slowly, like a quiet sigh. You inhale, and the air is soft against your face. You exhale, releasing tension you didn't notice was there. The earth hums beneath you, faint and steady, as if it has been waiting all along for someone to notice. Perhaps it chuckles softly at your surprise. A small, invisible chuckle, like the sound of pebbles rolling far below, or maybe it's just your imagination. You lean slightly, letting your toes wiggle in the soil. The sensation is grounding. The earth's surface shifts minutely, almost imperceptibly, as though it breathes in time with your own slow, deliberate inhalations. You imagine its heartbeat, soft, measured, patient. Each pulse is like a distant drum, hidden but real. You synchronize with it. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale again. And with each breath, you feel your mind stretch downward, toward the layers beneath your feet. The crust is thin, a delicate shell atop the molten warmth below. It is solid enough to carry forests, oceans, cities. Yet it is light enough to drift on the mantle's slow, simmering currents. Imagine the crust as skin. Your own skin, sensitive to the air, the warmth, the light brushing past. Imagine standing barefoot on your own heartbeat, feeling it in the soles of your feet. The thought makes you smile faintly. Not a loud laugh, just a quiet, drifting amusement. Beneath the skin of the earth, the mantle flows. Warm, gentle, patient. You imagine it as a slow river of heat, moving imperceptibly, nudging continents, folding mountains, creating valleys. You inhale, letting the warmth seep into your awareness. You exhale, and the thought of that deep motion soothes you. Every pulse, every ripple, is like a slow massage to the mind. Tiny tremors of energy move unseen, unnoticed by most, but your attention is a gentle lantern, casting light on what is usually hidden. You take another breath. The air drifts softly through your lungs. You feel a subtle vibration, like a whispered greeting from deep within the earth. It's not a threat. It is the body of the planet stretching, sighing, exhaling. You imagine placing your hand over the ground, feeling the crust flex just enough to acknowledge your presence. A very small, very polite nod. The earth does not rush. It does not hurry. It does not need to. And neither do you. The soil beneath you carries a faint warmth, a memory of sun and time. You imagine it pulsing, the way your heart does after a slow walk, after a long stretch. Each beat is gentle, reassuring. The earth is alive. You smile to yourself. Perhaps rocks are like bones. Perhaps magma is warm blood. Perhaps the very air is a circulation of breaths you cannot see. You breathe in, sensing the soft glow beneath. You breathe out, letting the gentle hum wash over your mind. You notice a leaf nearby, trembling in a whisper of wind. It is calm. The leaf dances without care. You are the leaf, for a moment. Or perhaps the leaf is the earth, swaying quietly, breathing slowly, with a rhythm older than memory. The comparison makes you giggle softly to yourself, a small, private sound. Your feet feel the subtle shift again. You inhale, lifting the awareness into your legs, into your arms. You exhale, letting the pulse travel into the tips of your fingers. Every part of you is resting on a breathing planet. Softly, you imagine the crust moving. You picture it floating atop the mantle's warmth, like a small boat on a slow, molten sea. Not dangerous, not urgent, merely drifting with patience. You imagine mountains as tiny ripples on that vast liquid, valleys as gentle folds. Your awareness drifts down, toward the deep core, sensing heat as comfort rather than threat. There is no hurry. There is no weight, only the slow, steady pulse of the planet and your gentle synchronization with it. You notice your own heartbeat echoing in tandem. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale again. The repetition is comforting. You imagine the earth's heartbeat beneath your feet, matching yours for a fleeting moment. Perhaps they have always been in rhythm, unnoticed until now. Perhaps you are simply learning to listen. You smile, a small, quiet curve of lips, because the realization is both immense and intimate at once. Beneath the earth's crust, tiny, patient waves ripple through the mantle. They fold continents. They shift basins. They warm the soil beneath your toes. They move with a grace you might call ancient. You breathe in, feeling the faint vibration of their rhythm. You breathe out, letting it calm your mind, smoothing thoughts like gentle water over stone. And with each pulse, you imagine the mantle whispering secrets, soft, slow stories, never urgent, never loud, only persistent, patient, endless. You take a slow, deliberate step. The ground is pliant, responsive. You feel it move imperceptibly, rising, falling, folding in silence. You smile faintly again, noticing that even the weight of your step is welcomed. The earth absorbs it, releases it, like a soft exhale. It is gentle, it is patient, it is rhythmic. You inhale, feeling the pulse of warm currents beneath your feet. You exhale, allowing a quiet trust to settle in your chest. You imagine the pulse moving through your legs, your torso, your arms. Your breath becomes a tide that rises and falls in harmony with the hidden heartbeat. Perhaps, you think, if you listen carefully, you could hear it. A distant hum, a slow vibration that feels like warmth on your skin. Perhaps it has been here since the beginning, unchanged, unnoticed, but always patient. You inhale, feeling the energy of that pulse rise into your awareness. You exhale, letting it fold gently into your mind. You notice how quiet and deliberate it is. No rush. No hurry. Only the gentle, endless, persistent movement of a living planet. The pulse continues beneath your feet. You breathe in. You breathe out. Each inhalation stretches into the ground. Each exhalation softens your mind. You notice how easy it feels to rest here, on this living, breathing body. The earth does not demand, it only offers warmth, stability, rhythm. You imagine lying down. The ground beneath your spine rises and falls softly. You feel the warmth seep into your skin, your muscles, your thoughts. Even the tiniest pebble feels like a heartbeat, a nod, a sigh. And as you drift a little further in thought, you realize that this pulse is endless. You inhale. You exhale. You inhale again. The rhythm carries you deeper, toward layers beneath, where warmth and motion are constant, patient, persistent. Your mind softens. Your awareness stretches slowly into the earth's depths. The journey has just begun. The mantle stirs beneath, quietly, invisibly. Currents move, slow and patient, carrying the secrets of mountains, valleys, and oceans yet to be born. You feel the gentle pull, a whispering warmth that invites your imagination downward, into quiet, molten rivers that never stop, that never hurry. You exhale, letting your awareness drift, like a leaf floating on a slow, warm tide, carried softly by the pulse beneath your feet. And there, in the warmth, in the subtle vibration, in the hum of unseen currents, you find yourself ready to explore further, to feel the thin skin of continents, the gentle rise and fall of mountains, the quiet flow of molten rivers below, always patient, always breathing. Your own breath rises and falls once more, matching the earth's gentle pulse, as you drift forward, deeper, into the soft mysteries that lie beneath. A soft, slow exhale carries you, like a drifting leaf on invisible waves, into the waiting layers of the planet's skin, opening the door into the next quiet chapter. You rise slightly, letting your awareness drift upward, feeling the earth's pulse beneath your feet, still slow, still steady. You inhale, imagining the warm currents far below, the soft, patient heartbeat of the planet. You exhale, and your attention lifts gently toward the thin layer of rock and soil that carries you, that supports your weight, that forms the continents and ocean floors. This is the crust, delicate yet resilient. Thin as skin, yet strong enough to hold forests, mountains, rivers, cities, and dreams. You smile at the thought. The earth is wearing its finest pajamas today, you think, softly amused by the image of a planet in cozy comfort. You let your fingers brush across an imagined ridge. The texture is uneven, yet familiar. Tiny cracks, folds, and creases ripple under your touch, like soft wrinkles on the palm of a hand, reminding you that even surfaces that seem solid are alive with subtle movement. You inhale, feeling the solidity beneath your fingertips. You exhale, letting a wave of calm drift through your shoulders and spine. You notice the gentle resistance of stone, the faint warmth radiating upward. You imagine it adjusting to your presence, nodding politely as if to say, "Yes, I feel you too." The crust is not a single uniform sheet. It is a mosaic, shifting slowly over time. Plates float atop the deeper mantle, drifting imperceptibly, sliding, colliding, embracing. You imagine standing barefoot at a scene where two plates meet. There is a soft tension in the air. A gentle, almost imperceptible hum rises from below, like the distant vibration of a music box. You inhale, sensing the subtle stretch. You exhale, letting it ease away. No urgency exists here. Only patient, careful movement. Even the smallest crack is part of a slow conversation that has lasted millions of years. You notice how the surface beneath your toes responds to your weight. Rock, soil, sand, each particle a note in the quiet symphony of the earth's skin. You wiggle your toes. The crust is pliant, alive in ways you can only imagine. Tiny folds ripple outward, like the surface of a calm pond when a leaf drifts across it. You chuckle softly, imagining the earth tickled by your toes, as though it is shy, or perhaps it's just polite. Your inhale carries the warmth of the ground upward. Your exhale spreads the calm across your chest. You rise a little higher in your imagination, kneeling, pressing both hands into the soil, feeling the pressure of continents beneath your palms. The land flexes softly, yielding to your gentle touch. You sense the subtle curves of mountains, the gentle slopes of valleys. The crust is a thin, delicate shell, fragile in appearance but strong enough to hold vast oceans. Imagine a handkerchief stretched across a bowl of warm water. The crust is a little like that. Soft in its thinness. Protective. Nurturing. Waiting. A soft breeze brushes against you, carrying the imagined scent of soil and rock warmed by the hidden currents below. You inhale, feeling the texture of the land, the warmth rising in waves. You exhale, letting the small cracks and folds release their tension. The folds tell stories, ancient collisions, gentle separations, patient shaping over eons. You trace them with your mind, imagining the paths of continents, the slow rise of mountains, the calm formation of valleys. The earth speaks in layers. You listen. Your fingers press more firmly, and you sense the crust's resilience. It stretches just enough to accommodate change, bending, shifting, adjusting. You imagine it like skin over muscle, over bone, over heart. There is humor in the thought. The earth has fashioned sense, its skin stretches and folds without complaint, always accommodating life above it and currents below. You inhale, feeling a warm hum beneath your palms. You exhale, letting your shoulders soften, letting your thoughts drift slowly, lazily, like a leaf on water. Tiny rocks and pebbles shift slightly under your fingertips. You notice the gentle give of soil beneath stones. The crust is not frozen in place. It breathes with the mantle beneath, flexing ever so slightly, adjusting to the patient rhythms of heat and pressure. Imagine holding a sponge filled with warm water. Not wet, not cold, but subtly pliant. That is how the crust feels, in your imagination. You exhale, letting the analogy settle, letting a wave of calm pulse through your chest. You stand slowly, letting your feet feel every contour, every fold. Mountains are folds in the earth's skin, valleys are soft sighs. Each step you take is cushioned by 1,000 imperceptible adjustments. You inhale. The world beneath you seems to exhale in return. You notice the subtle vibration of unseen forces, the tiny shifts that create balance, the soft energy of a body alive yet quiet. You smile faintly, appreciating the patient choreography of crust and mantle. Your mind drifts to the oceans, imagining them flowing over the thin shell of the earth. The crust supports them effortlessly. The skin of the planet, thin yet resilient, holds entire worlds in careful balance. You exhale, imagining the crust flexing beneath water, beneath forests, beneath deserts. You inhale, letting the warmth of the earth seep into your awareness, a slow, reassuring pulse that carries through your body. You feel it in your toes, your knees, your shoulders. The pulse is steady. The pulse is gentle. The pulse is endless. The crust folds and shifts imperceptibly, even as you watch. Tiny ridges curl, cracks ripple, a soft sigh of adjustment. You imagine running your hand along a fold and feeling the subtle heartbeat beneath. A small, private giggle rises in your chest. The earth is being ticklish again, or perhaps it just appreciates your attention. Your inhale carries the warmth of this quiet presence. Your exhale spreads calm across your awareness. You are part of this slow, careful rhythm, a witness to the patient choreography of plates. You kneel once more, pressing hands to the soil. The warmth rises, the pulse deepens. Every fold, every ridge, every tiny imperfection in the crust is a story. The Earth's skin remembers ancient collisions and separations, gentle stretches and compressions, like the soft, slow memory of a living body. You inhale. You exhale. You let your awareness settle into the quiet dance of rock and soil. The planet holds you gently, patiently, without judgment, without hurry. And as you rise, stretching your imagination along the ridges and cracks, you sense the deeper warmth beneath, the patient mantle moving slowly, carrying the weight of oceans, mountains, and continents alike. You inhale, letting the crust's strength fill your awareness. You exhale, letting the thin shell release tension you didn't know you held. You notice the pulse beneath, connecting everything in quiet harmony. You feel it in your hands, your feet, your chest, your mind. The thin crust beneath you continues its patient work, flexing, folding, holding the world above while floating on the rivers of heat below. You exhale softly, allowing your awareness to drift downward, into the warmth of the mantle, into the subtle hum that has carried you from the gentle pulse beneath your feet into this thin, resilient skin. The journey continues, deeper still, where rivers of molten warmth patiently shape mountains and valleys yet to be imagined. And so you rise, softly, gently, letting your breath match the rhythm of the planet's skin, ready to follow the warmth and movement beneath into the slow rivers of the mantle, drifting quietly, endlessly, like a leaf carried on unseen currents, into the next chapter. You rise from the thin skin of the crust and let your awareness drift deeper. Inhale. The warmth beneath your feet calls softly, a gentle hum of life. Exhale, and the tension of the world above drifts away. You imagine yourself sinking slowly, ever so gently, through the crust, past the mountains and valleys, past the rivers and oceans, toward the soft glow of the mantle. Warmth radiates like a quiet lamp in a dim room, steady, reassuring, patient. You notice the pulse beneath you continues, larger now, broader, like the Earth's heart expanding into its chest. The mantle is alive. You breathe in, feeling it stir beneath your feet. You exhale, letting it carry your awareness downward, as if floating along a slow, invisible river of heat. It moves, always moving, but without hurry. Imagine warm honey flowing through a giant, gentle pipe, thick and persistent. Or perhaps a long, soft wave rolling quietly across a vast, molten sea. You let a small smile appear, imagining the mantle with a slow, polite sense of humor, nudging continents across the globe like a sleepy parent nudging a child toward the bath. Beneath your hands, the crust floats, cradled by the mantle's patient flow. You breathe in. You exhale. You feel the warmth rise, rising like a gentle tide, carrying unseen energy through stone and soil. You imagine tiny rivers of molten rock, hidden from your eyes, moving beneath the crust in slow, winding paths. They bend and fold, they rise and fall, shaping the world above. You inhale, sensing the soft glow in your mind's eye. You exhale, letting your thoughts fold and relax along the gentle currents. With each breath, you imagine the heat rising like warm air from a fireplace, curling around your legs, your torso, your chest. The mantle does not rush. It does not shout. It merely moves, patient and persistent. The continents drift on its back, mountains rise and fall, oceans stretch and sigh, all guided by this slow, unseen river. You notice how your own pulse matches it, unconsciously, softly, in time with the deep, patient flow. You let your fingers trail along imagined molten streams, feeling their warmth in your mind. They are slow, pliant, alive in a way that feels almost human. Perhaps they dream of the continents above, stretching slowly over them, rising and falling like a gentle stretch of a sleepy arm. You giggle softly, a tiny sound that drifts like a leaf on a warm current. The mantle does not mind. It has been patient for millions of years, and your amusement is just another ripple in its slow, careful rhythm. Inhale. Exhale. You float further into awareness, letting your mind ride these hidden rivers. They carry heat, yes, but also motion, a steady push that moves entire plates without complaint. Imagine the oceans above, riding this invisible tide. Imagine mountains rising in polite acknowledgement, folding like soft blankets. You exhale, feeling a wave of calm spread through your chest, through your shoulders, through your fingers. You notice how even the tiniest ripple of the mantle's flow can influence the surface in ways both vast and gentle. You imagine your breath drifting downward with the heat, a soft balloon expanding and contracting in rhythm with the earth. Each inhale lifts warmth into your awareness. Each exhale sinks into the molten rivers beneath, settling your mind and body. You notice the mantle's subtle currents twisting, swirling, turning slowly as if dancing a quiet, secret waltz. You smile, imagining it spinning in slow motion, as if trying to impress the crust above, which nods politely in return. The mantle hums with patience. It never tires. Its flow is measured, deliberate, endless. You inhale, feeling your awareness stretch along the ribbons of heat, tracing them as they wind beneath continents, beneath oceans, beneath the very crust you walked upon moments ago. You exhale, letting the sensation dissolve into your chest, feeling calm, whole, part of the patient body of the planet. Each pulse carries warmth, each shift carries a story, each current carries a hidden shaping of the world above. Tiny pockets of heat rise through the mantle, like bubbles in slow-moving tea. They drift upward, unseen, merging with other currents, folding over themselves in gentle loops, turning, curling, twisting in patient choreography. You imagine following one, watching it rise, carrying with it a piece of the earth's memory. Perhaps it remembers a mountain forming, an ocean stretching, a valley sighing into place. You inhale, letting the warmth brush your mind. You exhale, and the thought softens, like melted chocolate settling in a cup. The mantle is vast. It stretches beyond your imagination, flowing with a rhythm older than your thoughts. You drift alongside it, feeling yourself immersed in its patient flow. You notice the faint vibration beneath your hands, beneath your feet, beneath your awareness. It is steady, unhurried, warm. You smile again, softly, amused at the thought of this molten river playing a quiet, slow game of patience with the continents above. You inhale, sensing the flow in your chest. You exhale, letting it soothe your shoulders, letting it soften your mind. You imagine tracing a river of heat deep into the mantle, feeling its slow twist, its gentle pull, the way it nudges plates, folds crust, and influences the surface. Mountains, valleys, basins, oceans all respond subtly to these currents, like feathers floating on a gentle breeze. You exhale, letting your awareness sink into the warmth. You inhale, carrying the sensation upward, back toward the crust, feeling how patient movement can shape entire worlds. Tiny, soft bursts of warmth drift upward, as if the earth were breathing gently beneath your palms. You notice how they coil, flow, and stretch, each one aware only of its own slow motion, yet together creating a network of life, energy, and patience. You exhale, letting the heat fold into your chest. You inhale, feeling your awareness expand to match the rhythm of these quiet rivers. Your pulse aligns with the mantle's subtle push. Your shoulders loosen. Your mind softens. You imagine the mantle moving beneath your feet as you did across the crust moments ago, a slow, patient, invisible dance. You giggle softly, thinking of continents slowly wobbling across molten rivers, as if taking tiny, careful steps, like a sleepy toddler testing a path in dim moonlight. The earth does not mind. It has always moved in this way, unnoticed yet persistent, gentle yet insistent in its quiet shaping. The currents fold, curl, and twist beneath you. You inhale, feeling them wrap softly around your awareness. You exhale, letting the sensation sink into your chest. Imagine the mantle as the bloodstream of a vast, living body, carrying warmth, energy, and life through unseen channels. Every pulse, every swirl, every subtle nudge reminds you that motion does not require urgency. Motion can be slow. Motion can be patient. Motion can be soft. Your awareness floats, drifting along ribbons of heat that wind beneath continents and oceans alike. You notice the warmth against the imagined skin of your mind, the gentle vibration of deep currents beneath your hands. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. The rhythm carries you, folds you, rocks you gently like a cradle. You feel as though the planet itself hums softly to you, an infinite lullaby, wrapping you in patient warmth. And as you drift, sensing the mantle's secret rivers, you realize that the Earth's pulse is layered. Crust, mantle, core, each breathing, each patient, each persistent. You exhale, feeling your own rhythm merge with the hidden currents beneath. You inhale, letting the warmth rise. You notice how slow motion can shape life, how patience can craft beauty. You notice the mantle's gentle guidance beneath your awareness. You drift still further, sinking into warmth, feeling currents swirl beneath, fold beneath, rise and fall in quiet choreography. The patient rivers of molten rock are endless, gentle, shaping continents above, folding mountains, stretching oceans. You exhale softly, letting the warmth fill your chest. You inhale, sensing the slow, hidden pulse of the earth as if it were your own. You feel calm. You feel connected. You feel the patient rhythm of a living, breathing planet, always moving, always warm, always persistent. And as your awareness settles, rising slightly toward the crust once more, you sense the quiet nudges of continents waiting above, the patient shaping of mountains and oceans yet to come. Your breath sinks with the mantle, slow and steady. You drift, a leaf carried gently on hidden currents, soft, warm, and endless, into the next chapter. You rise gently from the warm rivers of the mantle, letting your awareness travel upward toward the crust once more. Inhale. The gentle warmth of deep currents rises to meet you. Exhale. The crust rests lightly above, pliant, patient, carrying the continents on its back like floating, sleepy dancers. You imagine standing on the edge of a vast plateau, toes brushing invisible currents below. You inhale, feeling the steady warmth lift your awareness. You exhale, and the ground sighs beneath you, slow and deliberate. The continents above drift, carried by the mantle's patient push. You imagine them as dancers on a stage too vast to see in its entirety. They glide, they sway, they fold gently into place. Each movement is slow, measured, precise, yet effortless. You inhale, following a drifting landmass in your mind. You exhale, letting the rhythm settle into your chest. You notice that even immense changes that shape oceans and mountains, happen without rush, without force, simply in the quiet, patient motion of the planet. You float above the oceans in your imagination, drifting alongside a continent. Its edges curl gently, reaching toward another landmass, teasing a soft, slow approach. You inhale. You exhale. The continents do not collide suddenly. They approach like dancers in a quiet waltz, steps measured, breath held for just a moment before release. You smile softly, imagining the earth choreographing its own slow, invisible ballet. Perhaps the oceans are its music. Perhaps the wind is the applause. Your exhale drifts outward like a leaf floating on a slow current. Tiny shifts ripple across the crust. You inhale, noticing a subtle change in the folds of mountains. You exhale, letting the calm settle in your shoulders. You imagine the continents adjusting, stretching slightly, pivoting slowly, as if testing their balance. The rhythm is mesmerizing, hypnotic, steady. You feel your own breath syncing with the silent dance, rising, falling, curling around your awareness. Each inhalation lifts your mind into the drift. Each exhalation grounds you in the gentle pulse of the earth below. The oceans ride the slow movements of continents. You imagine waves folding softly against the edges of drifting land. Each ripple mirrors the patient flow beneath the crust, the slow push of the mantle, the hidden warmth that carries continents forward. You inhale, feeling the motion in your chest. You exhale, letting the image of oceans caressing coastlines wash over your awareness. You notice that nothing hurries, nothing shocks. Even collisions, when they happen, are soft, careful, patient. You imagine tracing a continent with your finger, following the gentle curve of its coast. Mountains rise in folds like fabric, valleys curl like soft wrinkles. You inhale, feeling each undulation in your mind's body. You exhale, letting the soft curves settle. The continents sway, drift, float, carried by the slow, invisible rivers below. Tiny tremors ripple across their edges, whispers of contact, polite nudges from neighboring plates. You giggle softly, imagining the continents exchanging a slow, courteous hello before drifting apart once more. Your awareness lifts higher, floating above the dance floor of the earth. You notice the continents moving in patterns older than memory, weaving around oceans, folding near mountains, stretching along hidden lines of energy. Each inhalation rises with them. Each exhalation settles you among their rhythm. You feel the patient choreography of the planet, the soft nudges of mantle currents beneath, the gentle sway of skin and stone above. The dance has been ongoing for eons, quiet, unnoticed, but profoundly alive. You imagine a drifting landmass brushing past another. A small, imperceptible tilt, a gentle bow, a careful, patient embrace. You inhale, feeling the subtle energy in your chest. You exhale, letting your body soften. The continents acknowledge one another without haste, without force. Even in moments of apparent friction, the motion is calm, deliberate, soft. You notice how your mind relaxes, following their patient waltz. Your awareness drifts alongside, a silent observer, floating weightlessly above oceans and mountains, carried by invisible currents. You breathe in the idea of tectonic motion, its rhythm spreading warmth through your awareness. You exhale, letting your mind curl into the folds of the earth's dance. Mountains form slowly, valleys deepen imperceptibly, coastlines stretch and sway, all guided by patient nudges below. You notice the gentle pulse of the earth's skin, the quiet hum beneath the crust, the warmth of hidden currents rising like a soft exhale. You feel connected. You feel calm. You feel the vastness of motion that asks nothing from you but observation and breath. You imagine following a continent across an ocean. It drifts, edges trailing softly behind, brushing waves as it goes. You inhale. You exhale. A distant hum rises, imperceptible yet steady. It is the voice of the mantle, carrying heat and motion upward. It is the pulse of the crust, carrying the continents along in a gentle, patient sway. You notice that the largest movements are also the quietest. The planet does not hurry. You exhale, letting this thought dissolve into warmth. You inhale, lifting your mind into the slow waltz once more. A small fold of land brushes against another. You imagine the earth whispering politely, "Excuse me, if I may," your lips twitch in a tiny smile. There is humor here, soft and quiet, unintrusive. The continents nudge, bow, slide, pivot, and continue. You inhale, feeling their patient rhythm in your own chest. You exhale, letting your shoulders sink. You notice the vast patience of these movements, their slow insistence on shaping oceans and mountains, continents and valleys, while asking nothing of you but quiet observation. You float above a valley, watching the continents drift along the mantle's invisible currents. Your inhalation rises, following the gentle sway. Your exhalation spreads warmth down your spine. You notice how even the smallest motion can have far-reaching consequences over time: a mountain forming, an ocean stretching, a desert unfolding. But there is no rush. There is only the silent dance, patient, endless, hypnotic. You giggle softly at the thought of continents taking tiny, polite steps, bowing to each other like dancers in an infinite ballroom. You imagine tracing the path of a continent over millennia, drifting across oceans and folding over mantle currents. You feel the warmth rise in your chest. You exhale, letting the motion settle across your shoulders. You inhale again, lifting your awareness with the continent, feeling its patient sway, its gentle momentum, its silent choreography. Each fold, each curve, each gentle tilt is a story of patience, of slow shaping, of quiet persistence. The continents continue their dance, floating on the mantle's hidden rivers. You notice your own breath sinking with the sway, inhaling as land rises, exhaling as valleys fold. You imagine the oceans drifting along with the continents, waves curling in harmony with unseen currents. You exhale, letting calm fill every part of your body. You inhale, sensing yourself as a silent observer, carried softly on the rhythm of the earth. And as you drift over mountains and oceans, tracing folds and curves, you feel a gentle pull downward, a reminder of the warm, patient currents of the mantle below. You inhale, letting the warmth rise, exhale, letting your awareness sink. The dance of continents is endless, patient, hypnotic, and you float with them, carried along by invisible rivers, guided by gentle rhythms, entranced by the silent, deliberate sway of the earth. Your breath becomes one with the dance, rising and falling, curling around the contours of mountains, floating over oceans, drifting above valleys. You smile softly, noticing how the largest, slowest motions are also the most comforting. The earth's patience teaches you calm. The rhythm of drifting continents eases your thoughts, folds your mind gently into the quiet, warm pulse of the planet. And as your awareness drifts with the continent, brushing a distant ocean, skimming the edges of mountains yet to be born, you exhale softly, feeling warmth and rhythm rise through your chest. You notice the slow waltz of the earth beneath you, patient, deliberate, endless. You inhale. You exhale. You drift, a leaf carried on gentle currents, over floating continents, into the quiet waiting of the next chapter. You rise with the drifting continents, letting your awareness follow the gentle waltz across oceans, across landmasses. Inhale. The warmth of the mantle beneath rises with you, patient, steady. Exhale. You float softly, tracing the edges of folds in the earth's skin. Mountains begin to form before your eyes, gentle ridges curling upward, valleys bowing in response. You imagine reaching out with your hands, tracing the soft undulations of a peak, feeling the slow patience in its creation. Mountains are not sudden, not harsh. They are stretches, gentle and deliberate, like a body waking slowly, reaching arms toward sunlight. You inhale, imagining your hands gliding over granite and soil, over ridges that have taken millennia to rise. You exhale, letting your awareness sink into the deep, soft valleys between peaks. You notice the patience embedded in every fold, every crease. The earth does not hurry. It does not shout. It sculpts quietly, like an artist who knows time is infinite. A breeze brushes across your imagined mountaintops, soft and warm. You inhale, feeling it rise through your chest, filling your awareness with the earth's subtle energy. Exhale, and the valleys receive your focus, curving gently, folding inward, sighing softly. You notice the textures: smooth rock, soft soil, tiny pebbles pressing under imagined fingertips. Each surface is alive with memory, carrying whispers of ancient collisions, folds, and shifts. You smile faintly, a quiet chuckle at the thought of mountains gossiping softly to valleys below. You step forward in your imagination, letting your feet sink into the slope of a ridge. It rises slowly beneath you, pliant, patient. Each step carries the weight of time, the rhythm of hidden forces below. The valleys curve around, embracing ridges like soft blankets. You inhale, following the gentle ascent of a peak. You exhale, letting yourself fall into a valley, carried by invisible, patient rivers. Every rise and dip is a story, a soft unfolding, a deliberate, careful creation. You notice the subtle warmth rising from the mantle below, filtered through the crust, lifting your awareness like a gentle wave. Mountains stretch patiently, folding soil and stone with care. Valleys yield, responding to the push and pull of these hidden currents. You inhale, feeling the gentle pulse beneath your feet. You exhale, letting it calm your shoulders, your chest, your mind. The earth is patient. You are patient. Together, you trace the quiet elegance of creation unfolding beneath you. Tiny cracks and folds ripple across ridges, subtle movements that tell stories of forces slow and persistent. You imagine your fingers tracing each fold, each valley, each peak. Inhale, following the gentle rise of a mountainside. Exhale, sinking softly into the hollow of a valley. You notice how mountains stretch upward, patient, deliberate, never hasty. Valleys fold inward, yielding gently, offering space, rest, reflection. You smile softly, imagining the earth stretching and sighing, like a body waking from a long dream. A stream winds lazily down a mountainside. You imagine the water tracing every fold, every gentle crease, carving the landscape with soft patience. Inhale. The warmth of stone rises into your awareness. Exhale. Your mind drifts with the stream, flowing, folding, bending around ridges and rocks. Mountains and valleys are alive, but not frantic. They move with care, with thoughtfulness, with deliberate grace. You notice how easy it is to sink into this rhythm, to let your own breath match the pace of creation. You lay a hand gently on the soil of a ridge, imagining the subtle give, the soft resilience. The crust flexes slightly beneath your touch, acknowledging your presence without hurry. Valleys respond similarly, curving inward, offering calm spaces where your awareness can rest. You inhale, feeling the warmth and pulse of hidden currents beneath. Exhale, letting your body relax into the contours of Earth's soft sculptures. Every fold is a secret story. Every ridge is a patient stretch. Every valley is a gentle sigh. The peaks rise with elegance, smooth and deliberate, curling into shapes that have been forming for eons. Valleys fold inward, cradling rivers, forests, and fields. You notice the quiet choreography of the earth, its patient attention to form and balance. Mountains and valleys are not random, they are a dance, a slow waltz choreographed by warmth, pressure, and time. You inhale, letting the rhythm carry into your chest. Exhale, letting calm spread through your shoulders, arms, and fingertips. You imagine yourself climbing a gentle ridge, toes sinking into pliant soil, fingers brushing small stones and patches of moss. The mountain rises beneath you patiently, offering resistance without harshness. Valleys fold below, cushioned by soil, whispering stories of ancient flows and folds. You breathe in, tracing the path upward with your awareness. You exhale, letting the warmth of the mantle rise through your legs, your torso, your arms. The earth's sculpting hands are patient, deliberate, slow. You giggle softly, imagining the mountains stretching with tiny polite yawns as they rise, the valleys folding in small appreciative bows. You drift over a mountain crest in your imagination, floating above peaks, tracing the folds of valleys below. You inhale, feeling the warm pulse of the mantle beneath. Exhale, letting the terrain cradle your awareness. Each peak, each hollow, each gentle slope is a testament to patience. You notice how soft, how careful, how deliberate the shaping is. Nothing is rushed. Everything unfolds in quiet rhythm. The folds of mountains, the curves of valleys, the gentle rise and fall of ridges all echo the patient heartbeat of the earth. You imagine standing at the edge of a high ridge, looking down into a valley. The view is vast, yet comforting. Mountains rise like stretched arms. Valleys curl like soft sighs. You inhale, letting your hands trace the contours. You exhale, sinking your awareness into the gentle dips below. You notice the small details, ridges that fold slightly, stones that nudge each other softly, tiny streams tracing invisible lines carved over eons. The earth is patient. You are patient. You breathe in and out, and the rhythm carries through your body. The landscape stretches endlessly, a series of gentle undulations, patient folds, deliberate rises. You drift along the contours, inhaling warmth, exhaling tension. Each mountain and valley carries memory, collision, drift, folding, stretching. You imagine brushing your hand along a mountain's ridge and feeling eons fold beneath your fingertips. Valleys receive your attention, soft and yielding, like a warm sigh that welcomes your presence. You giggle softly, imagining the mountains stretching lazily like a cat, the valleys folding up like soft blankets. You follow a slow stream winding between ridges. Its motion mirrors the patient shaping of the land. Mountains rise gently alongside. Valleys bow in response. The earth sculpts softly, deliberately, patiently, and you float with the rhythm, inhaling warmth, exhaling calm. You notice that even the tallest peaks and the deepest valleys are patient, deliberate, soft, alive. You feel connected, part of this quiet, immense dance of creation. And as your awareness drifts along ridges, down slopes, across valleys, you notice the warmth of the mantle rising beneath, carrying gentle nudges upward. Mountains and valleys are soft sculptures, formed by patient currents, shaped by time, guided by quiet forces beneath the crust. You inhale, feeling the warmth and rhythm spread through your chest. You exhale, letting the folds of the earth cradle your awareness. You are floating, drifting, weightless, part of a world shaped with patience and care. And as you rise, letting your awareness drift along the peaks and valleys, feeling the soft pulse of the earth beneath, you notice the mantle flowing still below, carrying warmth and patience, preparing the stage for the meeting of plates, the next folds, the subtle conversations of tectonic edges. You exhale, drifting, ready to explore the edges of continents in the next chapter. You drift down from the peaks and valleys, letting your awareness settle along the edges of continents. Inhale. The warmth of the mantle rises beneath your feet. Exhale. You sense the crust shifting, the skin of the earth stretching and bending where two plates meet. The boundaries are not sharp lines, but soft folds, gentle seams where the patient dance of the planet is most visible. You imagine your hands hovering above the meeting of two continents, fingers tracing the invisible energy pulsing beneath. These edges are alive. You inhale, feeling the subtle pressure, the quiet push of rock against rock. Exhale, letting your shoulders soften. Sometimes the plates nudge each other, sometimes they slide past like dancers avoiding a collision. Even in contact, there is no hurry, no forceful shove, only a slow, careful adjustment. You notice how the earth balances, letting friction guide its motion, letting tension build and release in patient rhythm. You imagine leaning closer, pressing your hands softly against the land. The crust hums beneath your touch, a quiet vibration like a deep, slow heartbeat. Inhale. You feel tension gather at the edges, a subtle stretch, like a held breath in the body. Exhale, letting it release. The land flexes just enough, folds gently, adjusts ever so slightly. Mountains begin to rise along these seams, valleys deepen, oceans stretch, and all moves in soft, deliberate motion. Your awareness drifts along a plate margin. You imagine the slow grind of rock against rock, a patient friction that has lasted millions of years. It is quiet, almost imperceptible. You inhale, feeling the warmth and subtle motion beneath your fingers. Exhale, letting your body fold into the rhythm of the earth. You notice that every movement, no matter how hidden, is part of the same gentle dance you have followed from mantle currents to drifting continents to peaks and valleys. A small shift occurs, almost imperceptible. You feel the subtle rise of a ridge, the gentle folding of land. Inhale. Exhale. The plates meet like two polite dancers, bowing before stepping past each other, stretching, yielding, acknowledging presence without hurry. You giggle softly, imagining them exchanging tiny, courteous nods, murmuring apologies and thank yous in a language only the earth can speak. The humor is small, almost invisible, but it warms your awareness like sunlight on skin. You drift along the edge of a convergent boundary, where one plate nudges beneath another. Inhale, noticing the patient pressure building, like a quiet coil waiting to unwind. Exhale, letting your chest soften. Mountains begin to rise along the fold, valleys curl in response. You imagine tracing the curves with your hands, feeling the resilience of stone and soil, the pliancy of crust. Everything moves slowly, deliberately, with patience. You sense the rhythm of slow creation, guided by forces invisible, yet alive. Transform boundaries are next in your awareness. You imagine two plates sliding past each other, brushing, nudging, adjusting. The motion is soft, like hands gliding along fabric, careful not to tear, careful not to pull. Inhale, feeling the gentle shift beneath your feet. Exhale, letting your awareness fold into the motion. You notice how friction becomes a form of conversation, how even slight adjustments ripple through mountains, valleys, and ridges. The earth is patient. You are patient. Together, you move in harmony. You imagine standing atop a ridge formed by plate collisions. The mountains beneath your fingers curl and fold like soft blankets, each peak a deliberate stretch, each valley a careful sigh. Inhale, tracing the contours of the land. Exhale, letting warmth rise from the mantle beneath. You notice how every fold, every ridge, every subtle adjustment tells a story of patient shaping, quiet dialogue between massive slabs of rock. There is no rush. There is only persistence, patience, and care. Beneath your feet, the mantle flows like a hidden river, nudging plates along, carrying heat, energy, and life upward. You inhale, feeling the warmth rise into your awareness. Exhale, letting the earth cradle your chest, shoulders, mind. Every ridge, every fault line, every subtle fold is a soft pulse of motion, a heartbeat of patience, a whisper of geological memory. You notice how gentle motion can shape entire landscapes, how slow persistence is more powerful than sudden force. You imagine following a plate boundary beneath an ocean. Inhale, sensing subtle pressure beneath your fingertips. Exhale, letting your shoulders release. The seabed flexes softly, rising and falling, folding in response to the patient energy of plates meeting. Mountains rise, underwater ridges curl, valleys bow. Even here, in hidden depths, the earth speaks in quiet, deliberate rhythm. You giggle softly, imagining a polite wave of water bowing as a plate slides past beneath it. Your awareness drifts along the boundary, noticing the balance between collision and separation, between friction and glide. Inhale, feeling the push beneath your hands. Exhale, letting it release. You realize that every plate edge is a conversation, a negotiation, a gentle adjustment of weight, warmth, and presence. Nothing hurries. Nothing demands. Everything flows in quiet, careful motion, sculpting the world above with patience and persistence. You imagine placing both hands on a convergent boundary. The plates meet with soft pressure, a slow, deliberate contact. Mountains rise patiently under your fingers, valleys fold inward, oceans adjust their breadth. Inhale. Exhale. The earth's rhythm carries through you, lifting, settling, bending, flexing. You feel the invisible hand of the mantle guiding these movements, patient and warm, always present, always gentle. Your mind relaxes further, absorbing the vast, quiet patience of plate boundaries. Transforming boundaries whisper softly beneath your awareness, sliding past one another like dancers avoiding a collision. Inhale, tracing the invisible motion beneath your palms. Exhale, letting your shoulders relax, letting your awareness fold into the rhythm. You notice that even in apparent friction, there is harmony, a patient balance, a choreography that has lasted for millions of years. You are witness to a conversation older than memory, quiet, deliberate, and infinitely kind. You drift along a boundary where plates meet, fold, separate, and slide. You inhale, sensing every gentle adjustment. Exhale, letting the warmth and pulse of the earth fill your awareness. The mountains above are soft, the valleys gentle. Every ridge, every fold, every subtle movement reflects the patient, deliberate shaping of the planet. You smile softly, imagining the earth bowing politely with each adjustment, shifting without hurry, nudging without force. And as your awareness drifts along the edges of continents, tracing folds and ridges, brushing beneath oceans and across mountains, you notice the patient rhythm of the earth below. Inhale, feeling warmth and presence. Exhale, letting it spread through your chest, your shoulders, your fingertips. The plate boundaries hum quietly, endlessly, carrying heat, shaping mountains, opening valleys, nudging continents along a silent, deliberate dance. You drift slowly from one boundary to another, floating over ridges, sliding past troughs, tracing the patient, deliberate rhythm of a living, breathing planet. Inhale, sensing warmth, subtle motion, quiet energy. Exhale, letting tension dissolve. You notice how calm and patient the earth is in its sculpting, how every fold, every edge, every gentle friction is a deliberate, careful shaping. Mountains, valleys, and oceans arise not by rush, but by persistent, quiet dialogue beneath your awareness. And as your mind floats above convergent ridges and transform margins, drifting with gentle tides of heat and pressure, you inhale slowly. Exhale softly. You feel the patient work of plates beneath your feet, beneath your awareness, beneath your very being. You notice the silent conversation of continents meeting and sliding, folding and separating, and you drift along with them, carried gently, endlessly, softly, into the next chapter. You drift along the edges of continents, feeling the patient motion of plate boundaries beneath your feet. Inhale. The warmth rises from deep below, carrying energy, carrying life. Exhale, letting your awareness sink into the folds and ridges of the crust. Somewhere along this quiet rhythm, you notice the subtle glow of heat beneath the surface, a gentle breath rising from the depths. You follow it, tracing its path slowly, softly, like a warm hand reaching through stone. Volcanoes are not sudden outbursts. They are the earth breathing, exhaling warmth from its core. Inhale. You imagine the deep molten mantle, patient, flowing softly beneath the crust. Exhale, letting your awareness merge with the gentle motion. You feel the warmth travel upward, curling through ridges, lifting through valleys, folding beneath mountains. The earth exhales slowly, deliberately, a soft glow rising from its body, shaping the land with care and patience. Imagine standing on a gentle slope, feeling the warmth radiate beneath your feet. Inhale, following the subtle pulse beneath your toes. Exhale, letting it fold into your chest. You notice the soft curves of the land, the gentle bulges forming along ridges, the quiet rise of earth that will become peaks, cones, domes. You trace the molten flow with your mind, following it as it meanders through invisible channels, curling around stone like soft, glowing ribbons. You imagine placing your hand on the slope of a volcano. Inhale, feeling warmth rise through your fingertips. Exhale, letting your shoulders relax. Lava moves slowly here, not rushing, not violent, but deliberate and patient. You notice the gentle fold of rock and earth as it yields to molten energy. The planet reshapes itself with care, building new mountains, smoothing valleys, filling basins. You giggle faintly, imagining the volcano stretching like a sleepy cat, exhaling warmth with each fold of its body. You drift closer to the cone, imagining the soft, glowing streams of magma flowing through underground channels. Inhale, following their path upward. Exhale, letting your chest soften with each pulse of heat. You notice how patient these flows are, how deliberate. Lava moves like warm honey over stone, curling gently around obstacles, folding itself into the landscape. It is not sudden. It is not harsh. It is a quiet exhalation of Earth's living body, shaping the world with a slow, deliberate hand. Imagine watching a plume of warm gas rise softly from a crater. Inhale, feeling the gentle heat against your face. Exhale, letting it wash over your shoulders, spreading through your awareness. The volcano breathes with patience, rising, lifting, releasing, shaping. Mountains grow from these soft exhalations, valleys receive the flow, and all around, the land folds into a rhythm that is neither rushed nor chaotic, but deliberate, calm, and alive. You drift along the flanks of a volcano, tracing the paths of slow lava streams. Inhale, following their glowing trails. Exhale, letting the warmth fold into your awareness. You notice the gentle resilience of rock as it cools and hardens, absorbing the energy, remembering the flow. Valleys form softly where the molten streams retreat, peaks rise gently where material accumulates, all moving with quiet, patient precision. You smile softly, imagining the land breathing, folding, and stretching, as if yawning in slow motion. You imagine lying atop a gentle slope, letting the warmth seep through your back, up your spine, into your chest. Inhale, matching the patient rise of magma below. Exhale, sinking deeper into calm. You notice how the earth shapes itself, how even the glowing, molten heart of a volcano is careful, deliberate, measured. The landscape forms slowly, folds into itself with grace, rising and falling with patient rhythm. You giggle faintly, imagining the earth exhaling as politely as a sleepy friend, offering warmth without haste. You drift along channels that lead from the depths of the mantle toward the surface. Inhale, tracing the soft, glowing paths. Exhale, letting your chest expand and release. Lava curls along the land, flowing like a gentle river, folding valleys, smoothing slopes, raising cones. The earth exhales, and you exhale in unison, merging your breath with the rhythm of molten rock, with the pulse of warmth, with the slow, deliberate sculpting of land. Imagine standing at a crater's edge, feeling the patient warmth rise. Inhale, sensing the subtle pressure beneath your hands. Exhale, letting your awareness fold into the slope. Lava flows, but slowly, deliberately. Mountains form, valleys respond, basins cradle water, and the land shifts softly, patiently. You notice how even the Earth's most powerful exhalations are gentle when observed with patience, deliberate when experienced with calm, alive when touched with awareness. You imagine following the flow as it reaches valleys below, filling gaps, smoothing ridges, folding gently into itself. Inhale, feeling warmth rise from the depths. Exhale, letting the soft glow carry through your chest, your shoulders, your arms. The volcano breathes slowly, the earth exhales gently, and the landscape unfolds with calm, deliberate elegance. You notice the rhythm, the patient choreography, the deliberate shaping that has created peaks, valleys, and plains. Imagine drifting across a volcanic field, cones rising softly, lava streams curling lazily, craters folding inward like gentle bowls. Inhale, following the warmth through each fold. Exhale, letting it settle into your awareness. You notice how every gentle exhalation from below carries energy, patience, and care. Mountains rise slowly. Valleys yield softly. Ocean basins receive their fill. The earth sculpts quietly, deliberately, breathing warmth into the crust, shaping the land with the care of a gentle, patient artist. You imagine floating over cooled lava, smooth and pliant beneath your fingers. Inhale, sensing residual warmth. Exhale, letting calm fold into your chest. You notice the patient, persistent shaping, how heat moves slowly, deliberately, folding valleys, raising cones, and filling basins. Every exhalation, every flow, every subtle fold carries the rhythm of the planet, slow, alive, deliberate. You smile faintly, imagining the earth sighing politely with each movement, curling molten rock like a blanket around mountains. And as your awareness drifts along slopes, over cones, tracing gentle lava streams, you inhale slowly. Exhale, letting your awareness sink into the patient warmth of the mantle below. The earth breathes beneath rock, beneath valleys, beneath mountains. Every fold, every exhalation, every glow of molten warmth echoes the soft, deliberate rhythm of a living, breathing planet. You drift weightlessly, gently, endlessly, into the whispered tremors of earthquakes yet to be felt. You drift along the boundaries of continents, lingering where plates meet, and notice the subtle energy humming beneath. Inhale. The warmth rises slowly, like a soft sigh beneath your toes. Exhale, and you let your awareness sink into the subtle folds of crust and mantle. Sometimes, this motion is almost imperceptible, a whisper beneath your feet, a gentle murmur of the earth adjusting. You imagine listening closely, your mind attuned to the quiet language of stone and soil. Earthquakes are not sudden shocks. They are whispered movements, soft nudges of the crust reminding you that the planet is alive, breathing, adjusting. You inhale, feeling the tension accumulate in a gentle stretch of rock. Exhale, letting it release, like a sigh folding into a soft pillow. The earth moves beneath you, tiny pulses, patient and deliberate, almost as if it is testing the ground beneath your feet, nudging itself toward balance. You imagine your hand hovering over a fault line, feeling the invisible push and pull. Inhale, sensing the gentle pressure, the subtle shift of rock against rock. Exhale, letting your awareness sink down into the earth's body, into the deep warmth and quiet motion beneath. Tiny vibrations ripple outward, brushing against your ankles, your knees, your chest. You smile softly, imagining the earth stretching its limbs slowly, politely, like someone rising from a long, careful rest. You drift along the edge of a slowly shifting plate. A small pulse travels beneath your awareness, a soft ripple that curls like a wave. You inhale, noticing the warmth it carries. Exhale, letting the ripple fold into your body. The crust adjusts with care, sliding just enough, nudging slightly, folding gently. You imagine the continents exchanging polite little shoves, whispering apologies and thank yous in a language only the earth can speak. You giggle softly, letting the quiet humor ease through your mind. These whispered movements are everywhere. They ripple along mountains, fold valleys, nudge ridges. Inhale, feeling the subtle motion in your chest. Exhale, letting the warmth and pulse fill your shoulders, your arms, your fingertips. You notice that even the tiniest tremor carries patience. Even a small shift is part of the great, slow rhythm of the earth, a quiet adjustment that maintains balance and grace. Nothing hurries. Nothing shouts. Everything flows gently, like water over rounded stones. You imagine standing on a ridge while a tiny tremor passes beneath your feet. Inhale, feeling the subtle lift and shift of crust under toes. Exhale, letting your body sway softly with the motion. The earth whispers, a secret conversation, telling stories of the mantle below, the plates beside, the history folded into stone. You follow the tremor with your mind, tracing it as it curls beneath mountains, slides past valleys, nudges the edges of oceans. You feel part of this patient adjustment, carried along by rhythm and warmth. Fault lines trace the edges of continents like invisible ribbons. You inhale, feeling the energy along these seams, subtle and alive. Exhale, letting your awareness fold gently along their curves. The earth shifts slowly, never rushing, always deliberate. Sometimes, a tremor rises slightly, a polite cough, a reminder that motion is ongoing. You notice the soft swell beneath your hands, the pliancy of rock and soil, the gentle pulse of a living body beneath your awareness. You imagine following a small quake along its path. It rises, travels, folds, and settles, a quiet story told beneath the crust. You inhale, feeling its motion ripple through your chest. Exhale, letting it sink into your shoulders. The tremor hums gently, a reminder of unseen forces, of patient adjustments, of balance restored with care. You notice how the earth teaches patience, how motion can be quiet, gentle, and necessary. You smile faintly, imagining mountains nodding politely to the shift, valleys curving appreciatively in response. The waves of a tremor pass like ripples on water. You inhale, sensing their warmth. Exhale, letting the motion fold into the landscape. Mountains, valleys, oceans all adjust together, softly, in harmony, carried by hidden currents of warmth and force. You notice that the largest tremors begin as whispers, small adjustments that ripple outward, patient, careful, deliberate. The earth moves not to shock, but to maintain its soft, living balance. You imagine kneeling on a hillside, fingertips brushing stone, toes pressing into soil. A tremor hums beneath, small, almost shy. Inhale. Exhale. You let your hands trace its path, feeling subtle pressure, gentle vibration. You notice the patient rhythm of the planet, how even sudden shifts are absorbed and folded, how energy moves gracefully through rock and soil. You giggle softly, imagining the earth wriggling like a sleepy cat, stretching, yawning, nudging itself back into comfort. Tremors ripple beneath oceans too. You imagine currents beneath the seabed, sliding plates ever so slightly, folding ridges, lifting underwater mountains. Inhale, following the subtle rise of energy. Exhale, letting your awareness sink like a pebble in water. The oceans ride on these shifts, soft, gentle, responsive. Even hidden beneath kilometers of water, motion is deliberate, slow, patient. You sense the vastness of Earth's living body, and you relax further, merging your breath with its rhythm. The crust whispers, murmurs, shifts, folds. You inhale, feeling it in your chest, warm and gentle. Exhale, letting your awareness drift into the valleys, along ridges, over folds of stone. Every tremor, every shift, every tiny adjustment is part of the same patient rhythm you have followed from mantle currents to drifting continents to mountains and valleys to plate boundaries. You notice how each movement speaks of care, of balance, of quiet creation. You imagine tracing a fault line from the tip of a mountain to the depths of a valley. The earth hums beneath your hands, patient, alive. Inhale, following the subtle pulse. Exhale, letting it fold into your chest. The planet is neither hurried nor chaotic. It moves with slow, deliberate awareness, nudging mountains, stretching ridges, folding valleys. Each tremor, each whisper of motion, is a gentle exhalation from the Earth's deep, warm body. You float above a ridge, feeling the faint vibration of a tremor beneath. Inhale, sensing its warmth. Exhale, letting it dissolve into your awareness. You notice the soft humor of the earth, moving politely, adjusting gently, nudging slightly. Mountains nod. Valleys bow. Oceans ripple. And you, a silent observer, drift along, carried by the soft, living rhythm of the planet. Tremors rise and fall, curl and fold, echo and fade. You inhale, tracing each subtle motion. Exhale, letting it fold into the warmth of your chest. The earth whispers constantly, softly, endlessly. You feel its patient heartbeat, its warm pulse, its slow, deliberate adjustments beneath your awareness. Every gentle quake is a reminder of balance, of patience, of motion that is necessary, calm, and nurturing. And as you drift along fault lines, tracing tremors, folding valleys, floating over ridges, you inhale slowly. Exhale gently. You feel the patient, whispered movements of the earth beneath your hands, beneath your feet, beneath your mind. You notice how the planet breathes, adjusting, folding, nudging, always with care. You drift with it, warm, calm, weightless, into the quiet anticipation of oceans and basins yet to be explored. You drift gently from the whispered tremors of earthquakes, allowing your awareness to expand outward, over ridges, valleys, and mountains, until your imagination meets the vast, soft surface of the oceans. Inhale. You sense the warmth rising from the mantle, pushing patiently beneath continents, beneath oceans, beneath the entire living body of the earth. Exhale, letting your awareness sink into the soft, fluid expanse below. The seas are vast, pliant, and alive with the patient rhythm of hidden currents. Imagine standing at the edge of an imagined coastline, toes sinking softly into wet sand. The ocean stretches before you, calm, reflective, carrying the slow pulse of the earth beneath. Inhale, feeling the gentle rise and fall of waves, a mirror to the subtle, patient movement of mantle currents below. Exhale, letting the soft rhythm wash over your chest, your shoulders, your hands. You notice how responsive the water is, folding around rocks, curving into bays, drifting past ridges. The oceans, like continents, move slowly, deliberately, carried by hidden engines beneath. You imagine floating just above the ocean floor, weightless, drifting over the gentle slopes, troughs, and folds of the seabed. Inhale, feeling the warmth rise from deep below. Exhale, letting the soft currents carry your awareness. The ocean floor mirrors the patient shaping of mountains and valleys above, stretching and folding along the same hidden lines of heat and pressure. You notice the gentle curves, the soft rise and fall of ridges, the quiet, deliberate shaping that has lasted eons. You giggle faintly, imagining the ocean floor yawning like a sleepy cat, stretching slowly, curling into itself. Beneath your mind's eye, the basins cradle water like bowls of liquid glass. Inhale, feeling the cool, pliant depths. Exhale, letting your awareness sink into the folds of the seabed. You imagine the water above, bending to the curves below, rising and falling in soft waves that echo the hidden pulse of mantle currents. Everything moves slowly, deliberately, with patience. The earth, beneath the ocean and above it, is a breathing body, flexible and alive. You notice how easy it is to merge your own breath with its rhythm, inhale rising with the swell of a wave, exhale falling with the trough. You drift along a gentle underwater ridge, following its curves like a soft ribbon. Inhale, feeling warmth pulse beneath your awareness. Exhale, letting your hands glide along the imaginary stone beneath. The basins fold inward, the ridges rise gently, and the water above responds to the contours below. You notice how even hidden beneath kilometers of liquid, the earth moves with care, patience, and grace. The oceans are not static, they are pliant, patient, flexible, a mirror of the mantle's slow currents, an extension of the living, breathing planet. Imagine a small underwater canyon, carved with gentle patience over eons. Inhale, tracing its folds with your awareness. Exhale, letting your chest relax into the rhythm. The canyon curves softly, offering quiet space for water and energy to fold, flow, and adjust. You notice the ocean above ripple gently in response, a surface reflection of patient shaping below. You smile faintly, imagining the earth whispering to the ocean, "Move gently, bend with me, we are one rhythm, one pulse, one patient body." The seas follow the slow sway of continents, rising and falling, folding along hidden plate boundaries. Inhale, feeling the rhythm in your chest. Exhale, letting your shoulders soften. You notice how liquid surfaces mirror the hidden engine beneath, a reflection of patience, warmth, and motion. Currents ripple lazily over basins, flowing along gentle ridges, curling softly around underwater mountains. The Earth's body is pliant and alive, moving with quiet deliberation beneath your awareness. You float over a deep trench, imagining the slow descent of rock and water alike. Inhale, feeling the warmth of the mantle rise faintly from below. Exhale, letting the soft depth carry your attention downward. The trench curves gently, like a sigh folded into the earth's skin. The water above ripples softly, reflecting the slow, patient adjustments of the crust beneath. You notice how even the deepest places are alive with subtle motion, quietly absorbing energy, folding it gently, carrying it onward. Imagine tracing a slow current along a continental shelf. Inhale, feeling the water fold gently around your fingertips. Exhale, letting the rhythm carry your awareness along the gentle slopes. Mountains rise beneath the water, mirroring the peaks above, valleys fold beneath the waves, echoing the terrain of the crust. You notice the patient shaping of the seabed, the soft curvature of basins, the quiet, deliberate adjustments that have sculpted oceans for eons. You are weightless, drifting, part of the calm, living rhythm of Earth. You drift over a submerged ridge, letting your fingers trace the gentle folds. Inhale, sensing subtle warmth beneath. Exhale, feeling the water move softly with your touch. The ocean floor is pliant, responsive, alive, a mirror to the mantle currents that guide continents above. You notice how mountains and valleys repeat their rhythm underwater, a reflection of what has risen above, a continuous, patient echo of the Earth's breathing body. You giggle softly, imagining the seabed stretching like a cat after a nap, folding in gentle, deliberate curves. You imagine swimming slowly along a submarine canyon. Inhale, feeling the cool, pliant water fold around your body. Exhale, letting your awareness sink into the gentle curves of the seafloor. The ocean is soft, flexible, patient. Every fold, every ridge, every basin has been shaped by heat, pressure, and slow, persistent currents. The mantle pushes, the crust responds, the water follows. You notice the harmony of layers, the quiet patience of creation, and you let your own breath merge with this rhythm, inhaling with the swell, exhaling with the trough. Beneath deep basins, warmth rises from the mantle, carrying subtle energy into the crust and water above. Inhale, tracing the gentle pulse in your chest. Exhale, letting your shoulders, arms, and fingertips relax. The water curves softly into basins, folds gently along ridges, and reflects the patient motion beneath. You notice how even the vastest oceans are pliant, responsive, alive with subtle currents that echo the rhythm of the Earth's deep engine. The planet breathes here, silently, endlessly, patiently. You drift along mid-ocean ridges, following their gentle swell. Inhale, feeling warmth rise from deep below. Exhale, letting your body fold with the soft swell of the ridge. The oceans move above in reflection, curling around folds, rising and falling with patient grace. You notice how even invisible ridges beneath water carry memory, history, and patient shaping, sculpting landscapes for life, for mountains, for continents. Everything is interconnected, a slow, deliberate, breathing body. You float above abyssal plains, the deepest basins. Inhale, feeling their weight and depth in your chest. Exhale, letting calm fold into your awareness. Even here, where light fades and pressure rises, the earth moves softly. Heat rises, plates shift, ridges fold, basins cradle water, and the ocean's surface ripples in gentle response. You notice the vast patience of these hidden worlds, the care embedded in every fold, the quiet balance that sustains oceans, mountains, valleys, and continents alike. You drift with your awareness over underwater mountains, gentle peaks beneath waves, following subtle ridges that curl like fingers beneath the ocean's surface. Inhale, feeling warmth rise through your torso. Exhale, letting your chest relax. The earth shapes and folds patiently, beneath water, beneath continents, beneath your feet. You notice the quiet elegance of hidden forces, the soft, patient rhythm that has shaped oceans, basins, and landmasses alike for eons. You smile faintly, imagining ocean ridges stretching lazily, folding inward like soft blankets beneath water. And as your awareness drifts across submerged mountains, along basins and ridges, curling with the gentle pulse of the mantle, you inhale slowly. Exhale softly. You feel the patient, pliant motion of oceans riding atop hidden currents. The earth breathes beneath water, beneath continents, beneath you. Every fold, every basin, every ripple echoes the soft, patient rhythm of a living, breathing planet. You drift weightlessly, gently, endlessly, into the quiet anticipation of the deep memory held in rocks, waiting below the surface. You drift slowly from the ocean floors and basins, rising gently through layers of the crust, letting your awareness sink into stone. Inhale, feeling the warmth of the mantle beneath. Exhale, letting it settle into your chest. Rocks are not silent. They remember. They fold memories into their layers, storing patient whispers of heat, pressure, and slow motion across millions of years. You imagine placing your hand on a boulder, feeling its cool surface, sensing the stories pressed beneath your fingertips. Inhale. The rock beneath your palm hums softly, a gentle vibration, almost imperceptible. Exhale, letting it ripple into your awareness. You notice the layers of sediment, the folds of mineral, the subtle lines where crust once shifted, where magma once rose. Every ridge, every vein carries a history. Mountains and valleys rise not only from heat and motion but from memory folded patiently into stone. You smile faintly, imagining the rocks breathing quietly, whispering their stories to anyone who rests gently upon them. You imagine tracing a ridge of layered stone, fingertips brushing grooves worn into it over eons. Inhale, feeling the warmth of the earth beneath your hand. Exhale, letting calm flow through your shoulders, down your arms, into your chest. Each layer holds a patient history, a quiet narrative of heat, pressure, and patient, deliberate motion. You notice how the earth records itself, how the mountains and basins above mirror the memory folded deep below. A valley lies before you, carved gently into rock and soil. You inhale, sensing the cool stone beneath your fingers. Exhale, letting your awareness sink into its folds. The valley remembers. the mountain remembers. Even the smallest pebble carries history, holding patient knowledge of the earth's breath, the rise of oceans, the slow folding of continents. You notice that every fold, every fracture, every subtle curve is deliberate, each a chapter of quiet, patient shaping. You imagine lying upon a rocky slope, letting the weight of the stone beneath settle you. Inhale, feeling warmth rise through your spine. Exhale, letting your awareness sink into the layers below. You notice how patient the rock is, how deliberately it has absorbed every fold, every pulse, every exhalation of the earth. Mountains, basins, ocean floors, all are pages of a story written slowly in stone, patiently, deliberately, with care. You drift along the side of a mountain, fingertips tracing subtle grooves. Inhale, following the folds. Exhale, letting your shoulders soften. You notice tiny fractures, small lines that mark subtle motion. Each is a whisper of history, a quiet reminder that the earth moves slowly, patiently, persistently. Rocks remember heat and pressure, tectonic shifts, exhalations of lava, even the gentle sway of oceans above. You notice how memory flows through the crust, echoing softly in stone and sediment alike. Imagine reaching down into the rocky basin of a mountain stream. Inhale, tracing smooth stones beneath your hand. Exhale, letting water and stone merge in your awareness. Each pebble carries quiet memory, the flow of rivers, the rise and fall of mountains, the patient bending of valleys. You notice how even water mirrors the stories in rock, flowing over history, smoothing it gently, folding it into its own rhythm. You giggle faintly, imagining stones whispering politely to the water, "Thank you for remembering, thank you for carrying our story." You imagine following a ridge of metamorphic rock, folded and stretched by pressure. Inhale, feeling the patient heat beneath your palm. Exhale, letting it settle into your awareness. Every fold, every vein, every subtle curve carries memory of mantle currents, drifting continents, rising peaks, exhaling volcanoes, whispered tremors. The earth is patient. The rocks are patient. You are patient. Together, you float through eons, carried by warmth, texture, and soft pulse. You drift along the sedimentary layers of a canyon, tracing the subtle stratification. Inhale, sensing the faint warmth of energy stored long ago. Exhale, letting your mind fold into the depth of memory. These rocks are quiet witnesses, recording the rise of mountains, the folding of oceans, the ebb and flow of continents. You notice how gently time is folded into stone, how each layer reflects slow, deliberate shaping of Earth's living body. Imagine running your hand over volcanic rock, cooling slowly, holding warmth like a heartbeat. Inhale, feeling the glow beneath the crust. Exhale, letting warmth ripple through your chest. You notice how lava's slow exhalation has been absorbed into solid stone, how it remembers its molten past, folding heat into memory, patience into stone. Mountains, basins, valleys all carry these patient echoes, quiet whispers of Earth's deliberate shaping. You imagine floating above a rocky plateau, tracing folds and ridges with your gaze. Inhale, sensing subtle warmth rising. Exhale, letting it fill your awareness. Every crease, every vein, every fracture in stone reflects patient adjustment, careful balance, deliberate shaping. Rocks are memory. Rocks are story. Rocks are slow, patient breaths of the living planet, folded carefully into its crust. You notice how the earth speaks softly through these stone pages, inviting you to rest, to observe, to merge with its calm, deliberate rhythm. You drift along a cliff face, fingertips grazing coarse stone. Inhale, tracing folds. Exhale, letting your shoulders relax. The cliff remembers the rise of oceans, the drift of continents, the exhalations of volcanoes, and the whispered tremors of earthquakes. Each layer of rock is a chapter, each fracture a soft sentence, each vein a gentle punctuation in the earth's slow, deliberate story. You notice how patient the stone is, how willingly it absorbs and remembers the patient breath of the planet. Imagine walking across a valley of smooth stones, rounded and pliant underfoot. Inhale, feeling their patient warmth. Exhale, letting calm spread through your body. You notice how every pebble carries memory, every slope echoes patient shaping, every rock is a keeper of quiet history. Mountains above, basins below, ocean floors afar, all are chapters, folded carefully, written slowly, breathing deliberately. You smile faintly, imagining the earth tucking its memories gently into stone, like a parent smoothing a blanket over a sleeping child. You imagine kneeling on a rocky ridge, placing both palms on stone. Inhale, sensing warmth rise slowly. Exhale, letting it ripple through your chest and shoulders. You notice every fold, every subtle line, every gentle crease holds eons of patient history. Valleys, ridges, ocean basins, mountain peaks all speak through the quiet language of rock. You realize the earth is not hurried, not frantic, but deliberate, patient, careful in its sculpting. Every movement, every exhalation, every shift is absorbed and remembered, folded into stone for you to feel and imagine. And as you drift along ridges, valleys, basins, and rocky slopes, tracing layers and folds, you inhale slowly. Exhale softly. You feel the patient memory of the earth beneath your hands, beneath your feet, beneath your awareness. Rocks carry the whisper of mantle currents, the drift of continents, the exhalation of volcanoes, the trembling of earthquakes, and the patient shaping of oceans. You drift weightlessly, gently, endlessly, into the awareness of the planet's infinite, slow, patient breath. You drift gently from the memory held in rocks, rising above ridges, valleys, and ocean basins, letting your awareness expand across continents. Inhale, sensing warmth rise from the depths. Exhale, letting it flow through your shoulders, into your chest, into your hands. The earth breathes beneath you, slow, infinite, patient. You notice the rhythm of mountains folding, basins deepening, oceans rising and falling, a pulse that has never hurried, never paused. Imagine lying down upon a gentle slope, feeling the warmth of soil and stone beneath your back. Inhale, sensing the mantle's patient currents. Exhale, letting your awareness fold into the crust. Every fold of rock, every ripple of ocean, every peak of mountain rises and falls with this soft, infinite rhythm. You notice how small tremors, gentle exhalations of volcanoes, and subtle drift of continents all merge into one patient, breathing body. You inhale slowly, imagining warmth rising through the earth, threading through mountains, valleys, basins, and ridges. Exhale, letting it settle into your chest. You notice that the earth's breath is infinite. It has no beginning, no end. It flows like your own pulse, rising and falling, curling in folds beneath continents, beneath oceans, beneath your awareness. The planet breathes quietly, persistently, patiently. You smile faintly, imagining mountains and valleys gently swaying in sync with the soft, endless exhalation. You drift across vast plains, letting your gaze trace ridges, hills, and valleys. Inhale, feeling subtle warmth rise from the mantle. Exhale, letting it settle into your awareness. Every layer of crust, every fold and stone, every ocean basin responds, moving softly, deliberately, like a slow, infinite breath. The earth is a living body, patient, careful, deliberate, and you are weightless upon it, merging with its rhythm, carried gently by its pulse. Imagine tracing a river across a continent, following its gentle curves, the way it winds over stone and soil. Inhale, feeling the pulse of water in your fingertips. Exhale, letting the river fold into your awareness. You notice how rivers trace the rhythm of the earth's breathing body, flowing across ridges, into valleys, and reflecting the patient shaping of mountains. Everything participates in this infinite breath: the rock, the water, the soil, the mantle, and you. You drift upward toward mountain peaks, imagining the patient fold of stone, the exhalations of ancient volcanoes, the subtle drift of continents. Inhale, sensing the warmth of deep currents. Exhale, letting calm settle through your chest, your shoulders, your hands. Peaks rise slowly, folding into the rhythm of oceans and basins, valleys curling beneath the weight of stone. Every movement is deliberate, every shift folded carefully into the Earth's infinite, breathing body. Imagine lying on a cliff edge, feeling wind brushing softly across your face. Inhale, following the pulse beneath your feet. Exhale, letting warmth ripple through your awareness. Mountains nod gently. Valleys bow. Oceans ripple. The earth breathes softly beneath you, every movement harmonizing with the infinite rhythm of its core, mantle, and crust. You feel yourself merging with this vast, patient pulse, inhaling with its rising warmth, exhaling with its settling folds. You drift across ocean basins, imagining the gentle swell of water over moving plates. Inhale, sensing currents beneath the sea. Exhale, letting your awareness sink into the pliant folds of the ocean floor. Each swell, each trough, each gentle ripple mirrors the patient, deliberate breath of the planet. Submerged ridges rise softly. Basins cradle water. Underwater mountains fold in patient response to the warmth and currents beneath. You notice how even the deepest, most hidden places participate in this infinite rhythm. You imagine floating above a vast desert, sand stretching silently across folds of stone. Inhale, feeling warmth rise beneath your toes. Exhale, letting it settle into your chest. Even here, the earth breathes. Mountains, valleys, canyons, basins, rivers, and plains all fold, rise, and exhale in harmony with a rhythm that has persisted for eons. You notice the continuity of this pulse, the gentle patience of the earth's infinite breath, and you let your awareness merge with it, weightless, calm, and warm. You drift toward a dormant volcano, imagining the exhalation of molten warmth that shaped nearby mountains and valleys. Inhale, tracing heat rising from the mantle. Exhale, letting warmth ripple through your chest. Lava flows, cooled and solidified, still echo the exhalation of the planet. Mountains and ridges rise softly in response. Valleys sink gently into themselves. Every fold, every layer, every ripple participates in the infinite, deliberate rhythm of Earth's breathing body. You imagine the quiet tremors that ripple across continents, subtle nudges beneath your feet. Inhale, sensing the gentle rise and fall of the crust. Exhale, letting your awareness fold into valleys, ridges, and basins. Earthquakes are not sudden shocks but whispers, soft exhalations, folded into the infinite breath. You notice how these gentle adjustments, combined with mantle currents, drifting plates, and exhalations of volcanoes, create a harmony of patient, deliberate motion. You drift across an ancient canyon, tracing folds in stone. Inhale, feeling warmth rise through your fingertips. Exhale, letting calm fold into your awareness. The canyon remembers rivers that flowed for eons, mountains that rose and folded, basins that received water and sediment. Every layer, every fold, every curve participates in the infinite breath of Earth. You feel yourself merging with this rhythm, inhaling its warmth, exhaling into its folds. Imagine drifting above a glacier, smooth, silent, patient. Inhale, sensing the slow, deliberate motion of ice over stone. Exhale, letting awareness sink into the valley below. You notice how glaciers mirror the Earth's infinite rhythm, slowly shaping mountains, valleys, and basins, reflecting the patient shaping of plate movements, mantle currents, volcanoes, and gentle tremors. Everything folds into this breathing body. Everything participates in the infinite pulse of Earth. You float across plains, ridges, valleys, oceans, and deserts. Inhale, feeling the subtle pulse beneath your feet. Exhale, letting warmth rise through your chest. Mountains nod gently. Valleys bow. Oceans ripple. Rocks fold, basins cradle, rivers flow, and oceans swell in harmony. The Earth's infinite breath continues, patient, deliberate, alive. You feel yourself carried by this rhythm, weightless, calm, and warm, part of a body that has been breathing for eons. You imagine lying atop a mountain peak, feeling the wind and warmth. Inhale, sensing the pulse of mantle and crust beneath. Exhale, letting your awareness sink through valleys and basins below. Mountains, oceans, rivers, deserts, glaciers all participate in this soft, infinite rhythm. You notice the continuity, the patience, the deliberate folding of stone and water. The earth is alive, breathing softly, endlessly, patiently, carrying every movement into harmony with its body. And as you drift across oceans, mountains, valleys, basins, and deserts, following the patient rhythm of mantle currents, exhalations of volcanoes, whispered tremors, and memory in rocks, you inhale slowly. Exhale softly. You merge with the infinite breath of the planet, weightless, calm, warm. Every fold, every ripple, every subtle pulse carries the soft, patient rhythm of the living earth. You drift endlessly, gently, into the quiet awareness of the planet's eternal, soft pulse, ready to rest with the living body of the earth. You drift softly from the infinite breath of earth, allowing your awareness to settle, to fold gently into the slow rhythm of the planet. Inhale, feeling warmth rise through the crust. Exhale, letting it spread through your chest, through your shoulders, through the length of your arms. You imagine lying upon the earth itself, resting atop its gentle pulse, sinking into its patient, deliberate rhythm. Each inhalation carries warmth, each exhalation carries calm. The mountains around you rise slowly, steady and patient, and the valleys fold quietly beneath your awareness. Oceans ripple faintly in your mind's eye, reflecting subtle movements from deep currents beneath. Inhale, sensing the mantle's warmth reaching your fingertips. Exhale, letting the soft sway of continents fold into your shoulders. The earth is alive, breathing beneath you, carrying every motion into the gentle pulse of its chest. Imagine the soft pressure of solid stone beneath your back, pliant earth beneath your hands. Inhale, feeling warmth curl upward through your toes, your feet, your legs. Exhale, letting your body sink deeper into the pulse of the planet. You notice how patient it is, how deliberate, how calm. Mountains rise slowly. Valleys fold gently. Ocean basins cradle water. Lava flows, then cools, leaving patient memory in rock. Even earthquakes whisper, adjusting and folding with care. You drift over gentle ridges and smooth plains, inhaling the warmth of mantle currents, exhaling into the soft folds of valleys. The earth breathes. The earth exhales. You feel the rhythm beneath your awareness, slow, deliberate, infinite. You notice how your own breath can merge with it, rising and falling with the planet, inhaling with its warmth, exhaling with its folds, weightless, calm, and warm. Imagine resting atop a volcanic slope, the gentle warmth beneath your spine radiating upward. Inhale, tracing molten memories cooled into stone. Exhale, letting calm ripple through your awareness. You notice the mountains nod softly, valleys fold quietly, oceans ripple faintly. Everything participates in the earth's infinite, slow, patient rhythm. You feel yourself becoming part of this living body, merging with the soft pulse of time and motion that has shaped continents, oceans, mountains, and basins. The night air brushes across imagined landscapes. Inhale, sensing its warmth and softness. Exhale, letting it fold into your awareness. Rivers trace quiet paths across the land, oceans ripple softly, basins cradle water. You notice how even the gentlest flows reflect the patient shaping of the planet. Rocks remember. Lava remembers. Mantle currents remember. The earth remembers, and you lie atop it, folding into its rhythm, inhaling with its warmth, exhaling into its calm. You imagine the gentle sway of glaciers, slow, deliberate, patient. Inhale, sensing subtle warmth rising beneath the ice. Exhale, letting awareness sink into valleys and basins. Even the coldest stone carries memory, warmth absorbed long ago, pulses of time folded into layers of rock. You feel your own pulse slow, your breath aligning with the infinite rhythm of the earth, inhaling its warmth, exhaling with its folds, weightless, calm, and warm. You drift along rocky ridges, tracing every fold, every gentle crest, every subtle vein. Inhale, feeling warmth rise softly beneath your hands. Exhale, letting it ripple through your chest. Mountains, valleys, ocean basins, plains, glaciers, and rivers all breathe together in quiet harmony. The earth exhales slowly. You exhale slowly. You merge with the rhythm, patient, deliberate, infinite. You feel yourself folded gently into the pulse of the living planet. Imagine curling slightly, pressing palms against pliant soil, toes into soft sand, feeling the subtle tremors of ancient movement beneath. Inhale, sensing heat, energy, patient motion. Exhale, letting calm settle into shoulders and spine. The earth breathes beneath stone, beneath water, beneath soil. Every fold, every gentle exhalation, every pulse carries patient shaping, soft and deliberate. You drift along with it, weightless, merging with the living rhythm, your chest rising and falling with mountains, valleys, oceans, and basins. You imagine the warmth of the mantle radiating up through every layer, carrying quiet energy into your awareness. Inhale, feeling it curl around fingertips, toes, and palms. Exhale, letting it settle into your chest. Mountains nod, valleys bow, rivers ripple, oceans sway. Every movement is patient, deliberate, calm. You notice how easily your breath merges with the earth's infinite pulse, rising with warmth, folding with valleys, curling with ridges, flowing with oceans. You drift along volcanic slopes, lava flows long cooled, now absorbing patient memory. Inhale, tracing heat folded into stone. Exhale, letting calm fold into awareness. Mountains rise, basins cradle, rivers ripple, oceans fold. Every fold, every gentle adjustment, every exhalation carries the earth's rhythm, soft, deliberate, infinite. You feel your body curling gently, pressing lightly into soil, stone, and sand, merging with the pulse beneath. Imagine lying on the soft curve of a quiet hill, toes pointed downward, palms pressed against pliant earth. Inhale, sensing warmth rise through the crust. Exhale, letting the gentle sway of continents fold into shoulders, chest, arms. You notice the patient exhalation of the planet beneath you, every fold, every ridge, every gentle ripple of water and stone moving in deliberate rhythm. Mountains breathe softly, valleys fold quietly, oceans ripple gently. You drift weightless across imagined landscapes, rivers, valleys, basins, mountains, and oceans blending seamlessly. Inhale, feeling the mantle's warmth rise slowly. Exhale, letting calm settle into your chest. You notice your own breath merging with the earth's infinite rhythm, inhaling with warmth, exhaling with folds, every pulse slow, patient, deliberate. The living planet holds you gently, wraps you in soft warmth, and carries you across eons of quiet, careful shaping. Imagine resting completely, your body folding lightly into soil, stone, and sand. Inhale, sensing warmth rise through toes, fingertips, and spine. Exhale, letting calm settle through every muscle. The earth exhales beneath you, slowly, infinitely, deliberately. Mountains nod softly, valleys fold quietly, basins cradle water, oceans ripple gently. You drift weightlessly, endlessly, merged with the soft, patient rhythm of a living, breathing planet. And as you lie upon its chest, feeling the slow pulse beneath you, inhaling warmth, exhaling into folds, you notice the earth's breath and your own pulse merging into one infinite rhythm. Mountains, valleys, basins, oceans, rivers, glaciers, and ridges all fold gently into patient harmony. You feel held. You feel safe. You feel connected. The living planet breathes beneath you, softly, endlessly, tenderly, and you drift, weightless and calm, into the deepest rest, carried on the infinite, gentle breath of Earth itself.